Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another game of Heroes of the Storm from NGS. This time we're doing Division D tonight. We've got the Furters versus Phoenix Rising Onyx going at it, a Division D matchup. These teams, it's their last map of the season. Both teams are already set as far as their playoff aspirations go. Frankfurters have qualified. They look to wrap up the number one seed. If they win tonight, they will definitively wrap up that number one spot. Phoenix Rising Onyx, they started off strong, had a little bit of a fumble in the mid season area. They had a pretty big match a couple days ago that they needed a domination to keep their playoff hopes alive. They ended up winning it just 2-1. So even a domination would tie them for eighth place, and unfortunately, they would lose that head to head to one more fight. So they're not able to make playoffs, but they're here anyway, fighting it out, trying to get some respect points, get some more experience for next season, maybe have a little bit of fun while they're at it. So I'm excited to see both these teams. I haven't had a chance to cast much Division D this season, so I'm looking forward to a good Division D matchup. Let me bring you over to the map section real quick. So we can see what was going on with the map. So Frankfurters, they won the coin toss and they elected to get first pick going in here. So first pick went over to the Frankfurters. So that means Phoenix Rising Onyx got to ban. They banned Cursed Hollow and Braxis Holdout. Frankfurters banned Dragon Shire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. And the map choice by Phoenix Rising Onyx was Towers of Doom, which is one of my more favorite maps to cast. So we're going to Towers of Doom on game one. Um, I don't know a whole lot about either of these teams. Look, I've had the chance to actually scrim against Phoenix Rising Onyx, so I know a couple I know them from a couple times that I've played them. I know they do a really good ETC combo, so we may get to see that tonight. Um, Not too much about Frankfurters though. I'm looking at their names real quick of players on the team, seeing if I've had the chance to play with any of them, whether it's in Storm League or quick match or something. So we're just waiting for the lobby to get ready. Oh, looks like we are now going to switch over into the draft. So we're going to get started with the draft screen. So it'll be interesting to see which time. Sorry, there's going to be a little bit of delay with the first draft, but it's going to be interesting to see what teams go for here, what bands pick band strategy they go with. Towers of Doom, it's that double soaking map where there's top and middle. One person usually goes between those, while the other four of the team battle over that bot lane. We see Gazlo banned first off by the Frankfurters. Gazlo's pretty strong on this map with the ability to create that split pushing potential, getting good turret placement. So Gazlo just getting eliminated here as a viable threat to that double soak lane. Diva also in that same category. She is able to rotate between that mid and top lane and get some serious wave clear done and provide quick access to get to a team fight on this map. Diva also excels on this map just by her zoning ability, fighting over those objectives, those towers, getting ready to, since we can't do direct core damage on this map, Diva provides good zoning presence and good pressure over those objective fights. Sylvanas getting banned out by the Frankfurters. Sylvanas, I don't know how well the Phoenix Rising Onyx play it. Maybe a nod in that direction. Sylvanas is stronger on this map with her ability just to use her passive to turn off the tower shots. So, adding a little bit more pressure with those tower nullification, getting a good team that can push with Sylvanas. So, if Sylvanas' team wins a good fight, they can execute it and turn to an advantage rather quickly. Li Ming getting banned. Li Ming just an overall strong poke mage, so she'll get a ban. It's never a bad idea to ban a Li Ming if you want to get rid of a good strong mage, especially on this map where she can poke over those walls to keep people off the objective a little longer. Johanna getting picked up here by Frankfurters. Johanna, very strong tank, especially in the early mid game. She falls off a little bit late, but her early mid game presence will allow a team to control a lot of these fights over the objective. Johanna with the Blessed Shield being able to pick those engagements. tournament. There comes the ETC in, so I knew that they played the ETC on Phoenix Rising. Looks like they're going to go with that ETC. Zool also being picked up as well. Very strong double soaking pressure. That we know what that double soaker is going to be on Phoenix Rising. Zool able to use his zombies to add extra pressure to those lanes, get a little more split pushing pressure. So Dahaka was going to be picked up to match that pressure. Dahaka, he does a pretty good job. He will have wave clearing capabilities. He will be able to be bullied out of lane a little bit if the Phoenix Rising commit one resource up there, if they get more of a ganker, but he does also have that global presence, so he can get down to a fight faster than Zool would be able to. And then they went with actually a double soaking, or double global as well with the Brightwing. So a little bit of global play coming out of here on the side of Frank Furters, being able to have two champions that can kind of get anywhere on the map, so they can create pressure or capture an objective on one side of the map and then quickly get to the other side to contest an objective over there. So I like the double global that I'm seeing. Kael'thas and Ana getting banned out. Ana's a very strong healer, so that's never a bad idea. Kael'thas, another strong mage, so the mage pool getting pinched a little bit here. But Chromie was the pickup by the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. Chromie, again, she's like the Li Ming. She can provide that poke over the objective fights. She's got a little more burst. Very skill shot dependent. I expect it to be a W build Chromie. We may see a Q build Chromie here. There's not as tight of windows and corridors that Chromie could go with, but it'll be interesting to see which path Chromie decides to take, whether it's that Q or W. Anduin picked up good combo with the light bomb onto the ETC. Allows him to position a little better and get a good stun to start his ultimate if he goes with that Mosh. The side of Frank Furters picked up the Orphe and the Zul'jin. So they don't have a ton of interrupts for the ETC. They do have the Brightwing Poly. They do have Orphe if she goes Crushing Jaws, which I expect her to go with the comp that we're seeing coming out here. And then they do have the Blessed Shield from Johanna, or the W from Johanna, and she has also got the Unstoppable passive. So they have ways to handle the ETC Mosh, so it'll be interesting to see if ETC goes Mosh or he decides to go Stage Dive to match some of that global pressure that we're seeing come out on the side of Frank Furters. Raynor picked up as the last pick by Phoenix Rising Onyx. I did remember they do play Raynor. They play it fairly well. He's able to provide a lot of pressure. It depends on if they get ahead early, they could use the Hyperion to kind of help push off of objectives and snowball that lead. But if he wants to go more for that team fight presence and scouting presence on this map, then he can go Raynor's Raiders and use that as the ultimate of choice to kind of get a little more vision for his team. Let me switch over to the game screen real quick. All right, so we see the comps. It's really going to come down to, I'm interested to see what these level 10s are going to be on the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx. If they're going to go, instead of doing that Mosh, since there are several interrupts on the side of Frankfurters, if they're going to go more for that global ultimate on ETC to match the pressure that the Dahak and the Brightwing are going to provide globally. As far as the 4v4 lane goes, it's going to come down to how well the Chromie and Orphe are able to propel their team into dueling. The ETC and the Johanna, I expect to do a very good job at picking the proper fights for their team and helping disengage their team. So I'm more interested to see this Chromie Orphe matchup coming out from both sides.
Prepare yourself for battle.
So on the side of Frank Furters, we've got Indecisive on the Orphea, Boggs on that Zul'jin, Davy Jr. on the Brightwing, DJ Cold Cuts on the Dahaka, and we've got Dallying Pig over on the Johanna. On the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx, I hope I didn't say Phoenix Rising Onyx for blue. That was Frankfurters on blue side. On the red side, we got Phoenix Rising Onyx. We got Battle Troll sitting on the Zool, Kozer sitting on the ETC, Dead On sitting on that Chromie, Chelsea sitting on the Raynor, and Amosio on the Anduin. Gia, good luck's coming out in the chat, and we're going to see a little bit of a fight going over to this mid lane. I don't expect to see a ton of fighting, more of a poke fest going on, maybe a little control over this bottom push, but both teams should be pretty comfortable going to their respective top lanes and bottom lanes, just clearing out the ways. Dallying Pig getting a little bit of a wave clear for his team. Chromie getting the initial poke. It is a Q build Chromie this game, so we already see that Chromie's going more for that Q build. She's going to have a little bit stronger burst damage, especially when she gets that third clone coming up. So she's not going to go more for that slow control W build. the Rainer decides to go for the ace of hole, so he goes a little more team fight oriented, but already we're seeing Frankfurters come down, Rainer getting caught out. Johanna actually getting fairly low as well in the front. She's going to be a little careful, but backs off smoothly. Enduin does use the pull on Chelsea, so that's an 80-second cooldown going down. And Johanna should have no problem just being able to clear this out. Brightwing should heal her up, no problem. Already in the top lane, the mid lane, we're seeing the Zool go ahead and rotate down, getting a little bit of pressure already committed, and Dahaka's having a little bit of trouble being able to match that, but the Frankfurters are going to come over and send 2 people up mid lane to help clear and create some of that pressure. We're going to see Phoenix Rising Onyx go ahead and start their camp, but it's being scouted out by the Johanna. The Johanna has very good presence already on this fight, being able to bully everybody off and take this fight, and the fight goes over to Frankfurters pretty much uncontested there. The Phoenix Rising just backing off. They may not have, you know, the Chromie needs to have a little bit of a chance with this Q build to set up, get in a better position to be able to contest over that camp. So smart back off there. They didn't have the fight that necessarily wanted, and they smoothly backed off, but good aggressive play by the Frankfurters taking that camp. Now they should be able to go get theirs, no problem. We do see Frankfurters spending a little more time with one of their champs in that mid lane area. Got a little bit of a fight going on. Kozer getting a little bit low, probably just getting chunked out by that Zul'jin, but Zul'jin's getting stacked up, starting to get pretty stacked up. So he's at 2. The more he can pick a little bit of a fight, the better those stacks are going to come. ETC is already sitting on 6 on that Pogrok, so ETC is almost a third of the way to completing that quest. That's going to provide a little more sustain for his team in some of these team fights, which is going to help when they have that Orphe being able to put so much poke down. Phoenix Rising coming in, ETC getting about half health, but he's contesting over the camp, wants to stay on it as best he can. He's getting fairly low, doesn't have the pull. The pull did try and come, but it wasn't in time, and ETC does go down. Chromie now running for her life, getting a little too far forward. Does she go down as well? Rainer wasn't able to knock back and save Chromie's life. And that was unfortunate timing for Phoenix Rising just because the objectives are now starting to spawn. They're coming up in 15 seconds. Chromie won't be available, so I expect this bottom one to go over fairly uncontested to the side of Frankfurters, and they should be able to get theirs as well on their side on the top lane. Looks like that the camp's pushing in, that Phoenix Rising, ooh, all 3 do get in. They weren't able to keep them off. Kozer does come in and try to knock away, but they don't have the numbers yet to kind of push away, and Frankfurter's able to get a shot. Up in the top, over the top objective, both teams are just able to take their respective camps, and so 8 shots go over to the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx, 4 shots to the core for Frankfurters. So Frankfurters have that little bit early game lead. Rainer getting caught out here by the Johanna, able to pop that spin pack and heal himself back up. Should be fine. Getting out there, Johanna going back in, getting a little bit low on mana, but Pops the Unstoppable is going to not have a problem getting out of there. ETC going to just help kind of clear up some of this damage. A little bit of a skirmish back and forth, but no team really committing to getting any kills at this point. About a quarter level lead going over to the side of Frankfurters right now. They do have the tower advantage, or the core damage advantage, but this is still fairly early. No team really has it set in stone yet as far as a massive advantage. I expect that the Zool is going to have a little bit of a better time getting that double soak, so the Zool may, with the pressure that he can create in that top and mid lane, get Phoenix Rising Onyx back in it a little bit with the soak. It really depends on these next couple fights we see before level 10. If Phoenix Rising Onyx is able to protect their sapper camp, if they're able to get it, they're looking in that area. Frankfurters are playing aggressively. They're able to get the slow down onto the Chromie. The Chromie's getting fairly low, gets pulled away, but that means ETC can't. ETC able to power slide out and stays relatively healthy though. So it really depends if Phoenix Rising Onyx can get this camp and maintain control over it. They will stay relatively close in that experience, not too far off, but we have this solo camp coming up over bot lane, solo objective. Right now, both teams are on even talent here, so it could be a good fight for either team. If Frankfurters end up being more aggressive and catch the Phoenix Rising Onyx, the Haka already coming down with that global ult, getting that pressure that we saw. They're able to bully them off, but not really getting any kills. Zul'jin goes down to about half health. Zool coming in, ETC getting the power slide, the root goes down, the Haka goes underneath into the stasis. Johanna getting a nice 3-man pullback with that W. Orphea is getting fairly low here. She is able to get away. The blank came through, but Dahaka no longer can burrow. Dahaka's getting low, and Dahaka does end up going down here. So good pick on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx to get that kill on the Dahaka. They played it fairly well. Orphea is unhealthy. And so what we didn't see, or what I didn't fail to mention during that, though, is while that entire skirmish was going on, the side of Frankfurters were able to channel the objective. They got 4 more core shots, but the Phoenix Rising Onyx got a kill, got the experience for the kill, so they were able to kind of close up this experience lead that the Frankfurt have, and they are able to successfully get the opposing camp as well. They didn't push with the camp, try to create some pressure in a 5v4 situation, so they do lose all 3 sappers. The sappers do go to waste a little bit. They got the experience, so not all is lost. They were able to get the experience and, more importantly, deny Frankfurters the experience as well. So all in all, it comes in. Chromie going with Slowing Sands. I think that's the better ultimate in this kind of a fight right now. It's going to be tough to get one of those temporal loops onto the Orphea, get a good pick. And so the Slowing Sands will help keep Johanna and Dahaka kind of away, help the team kind of peel back, which seemed to be their strength in that last team fight. If they're able to peel back, get reorganized, get a fight that they're looking for, and then re-engage, that seemed to be what caused them to win, kind of watching the side of Frankfurt is forced to fight. Johanna does go in, gets a 2-man stun onto or slow onto the Chromie in the ETC, but they back off smartly. Anduin does go the Light Bomb, but look, we did see the ETC did go to the stage dive, and I think that was the right choice, with the amount of global presence that the Frankfurters do have, and the amount of interrupts they have on Mosh, they do decide to go for that, getting a little more global presence on the ETC, being able to help contest. ETC does slide in, gets a nice knockback onto the Brightwing. Raynor getting down to about half health there, or Anduin getting low himself, gets the Light Bomb onto Zul'jin. ETC dives in, Zul'jin pops the Taz Dingo, but already Anduin going down. Raynor's getting fairly low, Dahaka's right behind him. And behind enemy lines, Zul is just sitting back there. He tried to get his team out. He's getting away at 80 HP. The Orphea may get close enough to get an E in, but she does not. So 1 death on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. It looked like they could have lost up to 3 in that fight. So maybe a little bit of shot calling, communication, or not just focus firing on the side of Frankfurters. But they do win the fight. They do trade, again, objectives. And both sides are looking like they're keeping this a relatively close game right now. Raynor getting down to about health. He's to land a power slide here into the Orphea, but he does not decide to commit to the engage there and just walks away. Zul deciding to go with that Poison Nova, so he's going to be able to provide that just massive amounts of damage when he does get to the team fight. But Johanna throws out the Blessed Shield. They're looking for a fight here in the Chromie. Chromie gets pulled back by the Anduins, and Anduin's saying, I need my gnome alive in order to be able to do some damage. Raynor popping the Adrenaline pack and they start to go back in. Heals off, but again, this is showing that, the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx, if they can get these fights where they, they get engaged upon, are able to get everybody back safely, and then re-engage a fight that they want when Chromie's set and ready to go, they seem to be turning these fights around and getting them into their advantage. So I think that's their game plan going throughout the rest of the fight and their way back into this game. Just smartly looking for a fight that they can reset and get to their favor. This next objective is going to go over the 1. Zul already came down to join. Dahaka's going to continue to split push, so Frankfurters, they just want to delay as much as they can. Dahaka's going to get presence, but Dahaka already comes down. He's already coming down into the fight, so there is a 5v5 down here. Raynor's using that Raider to get a little bit of proc pressure. It's getting about half health. ETC does go in, gets the stun on the Brightwing. The Light Bomb goes down. Brightwing's already getting fairly low. Crushing Jaws goes down, but doesn't go off. Everything's kind of chaotic fight right now. Orphea just gets dumpstered on by the ETC, jumps on her, and then Raynor starts to follow up a little bit of fight. Dahaka's in pretty deep over here. Raynor getting pulled down, but he's getting pulled right next to the Zul'jin. Zul'jin's like, thank you for dinner, but Zul'jin does go down himself. That's 2 kills to 1 right now on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx, and they are going to get this channel. They also have their Sapper Camp moving. ETC's not done. He's sliding in. He's going to get the knockback on the Dahaka, and Chromie is able to finish off that kill. Well done on the side of ETC being able to get that kill onto that Dahaka, and they should be able to get a pretty good push here. They have 4 members down here. There's 2 members dead on the side. Johanna is here to help out, provide some pressure, keep him off the core, but with the Zul, he should be able to, with the zombies coming in, to get some pressure. They're backing off, letting the Chromie do the poke. Chromie's quest is done, so now she does have the double clone, so she's going to be putting out a lot of damage with those Qs if all 3 clones are hitting the same target. That burst damage is going to come in strong. But Phoenix Rising Onyx again backing off. It's even experience. They're down a couple core shots, one objective fight. We've got a triple objective coming up now. So Phoenix Rising, they just need to, you know, go back and recollect as a team, make sure they don't lose any towers, and find a good way to pick another great fight like they did last game, the last engage, and find a way to win these team fights like they've been doing. Furters, I think they're being a little too aggressive, or they're just not all in sync yet. I fully, from what I've seen, they should be able to, you know, pick some of these fights and win some of these fights. They've done well in those fights that they are able to pick and be able to engage. And it looks like they're going to go try again, pick another fight. They want Chromie landing a 3-man stop, pretty much stopping any plans that the Frankfurters had of picking an engage there. And so now we see the objective go ahead and start. The fight's going to pretty much be over this bottom one, but if the Dahaka is able to channel, he will get down here before the Zool is. Zool's going ahead, going to go soak mid, see if he can get some more pressure, make the Dahaka go down. It looks like the side of Phoenix Rising, they're going to give up the bottom. They're going to go ahead and try and get a play on the Dahaka up here, and they've got him caught. Dahaka's in trouble. He doesn't have anywhere to go. If they can body block him here, he's just stuck, and they are. Dahaka's just moving around, but he can't go anywhere, and this is going to go over to Phoenix Rising Onyx. So they're going to get both objectives, but Frankfurters, they need to respond. They need to get the Sapper camp, and they need to start pushing the core, and they're doing exactly that. Phoenix Rising, they know that the Frankfurters are not all there, so they're suspicious of this. The camp does go over, but the light bomb does go down on the from the ETC. Got a little bit of a chaotic fight. Chromie did get caught out of position. She does pop the stasis. The Orpheus should not have a problem killing her. ETC may be able to save her life here. The good slide in if she can knock back. Almost saved. That was a fantastic try by the ETC, and good communication with Chromie just wasn't enough. Chromie got just a little caught out in that team fight, which is, you know, unfortunate. They kind of had to force because they were suspicious of that camp. But with that camp, you know, the disengage potential, Chromie was sitting behind everybody when they went in for the fight, and Frankfurters disengaged right into a Chromie and said, okay, the Chromie's all alone right here, and we're able to get a pick onto the Chromie. So 16, the experience lead has gone over to the side of Phoenix Rising and Onyx. This is the first time I think I've seen them ahead in the game in the experience. So they're still playing their comp exactly how they want to be playing it. They're playing it more passively. They're not trying to force anything. They're looking for fights that are advantageous for them. Frankfurters, they did a good job responding to that Dahaka gang. Oh, 3-man Blessed Shield by the Johanna here. Orphea putting down some serious damage. This Anduin's probably going to go down. He starts getting away. The Zul'jin goes down in the back. Anduin does have Light Bomb. Somehow Anduin is still alive in all this, and they are turning it around again. Orphea getting low. Brightwing is coming in. Should heal her up, no problem. Raynor getting low, but Johanna does go down. That's a 2-0 kill on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. They have the objective coming up in 20 seconds. Dahaka's split pushing, but he's not going to get enough pressure. Zul is going to go up and beat him, and the Phoenix Rising Onyx are going to go for this tower. I think this is the right play. Nope, looks like they're actually disengaging. They're going to go up and try to fight over the cores. I personally liked the initial decision to possibly go for the tower here. There's still 20 seconds that they had a 4v3. And if they get that tower, they are in control of the game if they just trade evenly. But they decide to go for the objective instead. There's the boss play up there as well. They should get this objective no problem. But since their fort is a little low, Frankfurters could have that open as a possibility to go and respond to and possibly get fort presence. This is starting to get low mid lane, so Zool is putting that to pressure onto Dahaka. He is out pressuring so far, so you know, the Zool seems to be winning that matchup, and he's getting down to his team when he needs to be able to. ETC is going to be the lone man down here trying to clear out some of these minions. We did see Raynor go for the penetrating, the paint them red, and the giddy up, so he's going for more of a self-sustain build, which is good for how he's playing. He's playing a little bit more aggressive, so with his being as aggressive, he needs a little bit more self-sustain, not relying on Anduin to top him off so much. And he also has the ETC's the Pog Rock finished as well, so he'll get some healing from that as well. So Raynor's I like what the Raynor is doing. You know, he's going to be able to do some of that extra damage. He's going to be able to heal himself up when he gets fairly low, and he has the safety net to be a little more aggressive when the team needs him to be. It's like I said, with the disengage, it looks like the Johanna is going in. She gets the root on the Chromie. Chromie gets healed up perfectly. And now the ETC's counter engaging. Brightwing getting caught out. She does pop the Emerald Wood and blow everybody away, but Brightwing getting fairly low in the background. Zul'jin coming in, starting to put down some damage onto the Raynor. Raynor heals himself up and just walks away smartly. Orphea, about quarter HP, will get healed up by the Brightwing here. But while that was going on, Zul is double soaking, and now this tower is down to half health. So the pressure that Zul is able to put on, ooh, looks like the Orphea getting rooted by the Anduin. And is going to go down here. Nice combo by the ETC and Anduin to get the pick onto Orphea. Looks like the Phoenix Rising Onyx, they're executing it fairly well in this comp. I'm like what I'm seeing out of them. And they got the kill again right around that time that these double objectives are spawning. So if they are, since they're both on the bot side of the map, if they are able to pressure this and win these fights and get both these objectives, they will have the potential to end with boss because they will have 8 shots going over. It looks like they're not going to get to the bottom time. ETC is going to dive in with the stage dive. He wants to get that interrupt. Shots already going over from the top, so now the fight's over this bottom. Orphea won't be up for another 16 seconds, so this is a great fight for Phoenix Rising Onyx. If they can get good kills here, they could snowball this to the game. Brightwing getting fairly low, ETC going in, root onto the Dahaka. The Brightwing did get caught down in the corner, and Chromie was able to finish that kill, so that's 1 kill going over to the Phoenix Rising Onyx, and they're just starting to push and create all this pressure. They have a 5v4 in this bot lane, able to do some damage to this tower. I mean, if they can get a kill and get the tower here, that's fantastic. At this point, all they need is the boss with that 4 remaining. This will give them boss pressure if they're able to get this down, but maybe they went a little too aggressively. Anduin pulling back their Raynor, keeping him alive. Coaster backing up on that ETC. Joe Mahana lands that 3-man light bomb. Crushing Jaws go down. Chromie is probably in a really bad spot here, but ETC going to help with the counter engage. Not getting Chromie does go down. Dahaka is fairly low, going to get bursted. No, he gets away. The Orphea is putting out some serious damage and is able to help 2-3 kills going over to the side of Frankfurters. ETC getting fairly low. He doesn't have the power slide. That's 4 kills going over, and that is a little bit of a throw there going on. I understand the desire to get this and create a little bit map pressure. It was a 5v4 situation, but you only had 4 shots. All you need to do with the mid lane pushing the bot is just go and create some pressure over this boss to get your final 4 shots on. Maybe take a fight away from the towers so you weren't getting additional tower aggro, but they elected not to, and we'll see how this comes back to hurt them in the end. The boss is now going to go over to the side of Frankfurters. This boss will no longer be a play, and now they need to win a fight over these next objectives. But 4 shots going over. The objectives are coming up before all members. ETC will be up right around the time that the objectives are up, but this bottom tower now goes over to the side of Frankfurters. So Frankfurters now have core shots. 1 tower won't be enough to end it for the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. They could contest over it and create a fight. If Chromie can get set up and if the Frankfurters decide to play aggressively over this one, they could have a fight here, both teams being on their level 20s. Chromie shouldn't have a problem poking him off of it. She did just use her W, so she's not going to have that available, but Anduin getting pulled back by the Dahaka. ETC jumping in with a mosh pit. Anduin getting fairly low. Chromie putting out some damage, hitting 3 people with those Qs. She does have the piercing Q, so she will be able to put damage as long as they stay in that spot. Johanna goes down. Dahaka goes down as well. Chromie just putting out some serious damage. Raynor now walking in, man-moding this with all of his damage. Brightwing getting interrupted by the Chromie, and Brightwing is not going to be able to get that channel off. Now it's a 4v2 situation, and it looks like that fight, Phoenix Rising were able to just interrupt it just in time, and as long as they win this fight, they should be able to end the game here. As Dingo goes off, he's able to get Raynor and Chromie and heal back up. Now they don't have the damage. Kozer, you're in a little bit too far. The Zul'jin is just going to go crazy and have all the damage that he needs to be able to do a full man ace on the side. 4v2 situation, Zul'jin just decided to flex his muscles and do some serious damage, and that's gonna hurt pretty significantly. I mean, there's 1 core shot left, so you know it's not over for the side of Frankfurters, but Zul'jin's now getting some serious stacks with all those kills, and he's going to be putting out some very serious damage in these team fights. He needs to be prioritized and he needs to be killed. Otherwise, as we saw, he's going to be able to, even in a 4v2 situation, if nobody's looking at him and doing some damage, he's going to be able to pump out that damage and kill everybody on the side of Phoenix Rising. So Phoenix Rising, I'm rooting for them in this game. They had such a great plan, especially being the underdogs, but they just a couple small hiccups that they're making. Frankfurters being, you know, showing why they're the number one team. They're able to
Destroy the
execute those mistakes or clean up those mistakes and execute this well. And if Frankfurters, I fully anticipate if they continue to keep control of the map like this, they are going to make a pretty successful comeback and possibly end the game themselves. Chromie putting on some defense, but now this tower is going to go down. If they don't get the tower on the bottom, which is being defended, the core shots are going to go off one every few seconds. Brightwing is getting fairly low. The tower does go down. Zool pops the ultimate. ETC getting low, gets pulled back by the Anduin. Boggs is fairly low, but does have the Tazingo. Chromie putting down some damage with the W. Anduin getting a second pull coming out, and Brightwing is awfully low. Raynor's trying to look for this fight. He wants to keep everybody slowed with that pepper spray. And Orphea does go down. Nice slide in by the ETC. Raynor with a nice knockback penetrating shot to secure that kill. Even though they only have one tower, that's all they need. They only need that one tower, and that one kill is going to be huge. They are fairly healthy. They are good on mana. Chromie is able to set up, and I fully anticipate if they're able to pick as good a fight as they want, that they should be able to end this no problem. This is do or die effort by the Frankfurters. Dahaka getting low. Dahaka does go down due to the crowd control. ETC jumping up, doing the mosh pit, able to get Dowling Pig on the Johanna down fairly low. Brightwing knocking away with the Emerald Wing, but that's already 2 kills going over, and this game should be game 1 going over into the Phoenix Rising Onyx. Brightwing going down, Tazdingo pop, just it's a last hope, but it's not enough, and GGs are going to go out. Game 1 going over to Phoenix Rising Onyx. Wow, that was well executed. There was a few small hiccups there on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx, but overall that was very well executed on their side as far as learning, adapting their team comp from what maybe they wanted to do when they were picking it to seeing what the Frankfurters were pulling out and wanting to, change their composition, change some ultimates around to better address the lack of global pressure that they had, and the ETC was able to respond to that very well. And then also when they were looking for those team fights, they didn't necessarily have the best engage. They wanted to set up around the Chromie being able to put down the poke, put down the damage, and letting her get it set up safely before they re-engaged. And so, the Frankfurters with the Johanna, she wanted to get in with the Orphea, get a pick really quick. That's what they wanted to do, but they just weren't able to find that pick. And once that pick is, that's gone, now the side of Phoenix Rising, they're like, yes, we've got it. We kept them alive. Now let's start pushing ourselves and push that fight back. And you could see that's by and large, that's how Phoenix Rising kept themselves in this game, and then eventually, got back and got their lead and won this game. The couple times where they tried to force the fight themselves to go outside of what their strategy should have been, they ended up losing those team fights and allowed Frankfurters to get a little more get back into this game, especially over that bottom tower where they were trying to be aggressive and get that bottom tower when they only needed 4 core shots, and that was Frankfurter basically doing they basically switched strategies at that point. But looking at the damage, look at that, 82,000 by the Raynor. The Raynor was playing so aggressive, and I love to see it. The Raynor just, picking all of his self-sustain, relying on the Anduin pulls, which he was able to do. Normally, we're seeing the Chromie is going to be the one to pull out the damage, but Raynor just putting out massive damage. Orphea put out some fairly good damage on the side of Frankfurters, but I think what we ultimately saw, if you look at the experience, 27,000 on Zool to 18,000 on Dahaka. Zool was bullying that Dahaka and just able to get that double soak up so much faster than the Dahaka was, that the Frankfurters had to commit resources to that mid lane to not lose out on that soak. And over time, you could see that mid tower was just getting lower and lower and lower. And, if that was earlier in the game, that could have been a real threat. Thankfully, the Phoenix Rising didn't need that, but that tower in the long run. But you could just see how much pressure Zool was able to put. And Zool did a good job getting down to those fights as well. Dahaka and Brightwing had those globals. They could jump right to a fight. But Zool was getting that pressure well enough that he could get those good rotations to get into a fight and add, make these fights 5v5 instead of, a 5v4 situation with the Dahaka getting in first. So, I good series, good game 1. This is why I like these kinds of series. Back and forth, both teams were fighting. It looked like either team could take it at one point, at several points. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. I'm gonna bring it back over to the map screen real quick to see if we can um, get another lobby invite. I'm trying to find out where we're going for the next one. So, and pretty much just waiting for an invite. Maybe the Frankfurters are talking amongst themselves to figure out how they want to adjust their team strategy going forward. Looking at, that's going to be another important thing. Looking at how teams kind of address their strategy or adjust their strategy moving forward. I saw that ETC being a pretty big problem. He was just being an outright bully at times and being able to land some of those crucial power slides to keep some teammates alive. So we may see an ETC ban, but the Rainer as well. The Rainer being able to be as aggressive as he was and put out that damage, um, that's an awful amount of consistent damage coming out of the Rainer. So we may see that ETC and Rainer getting banned out on the side of Frankfurters. And they're saying, nope, you gotta bring something else. Um, and on the side of the uh, Phoenix Rising Onyx, to for their pick and ban strategies, they may keep it the same. The Johanna did land some very good blessed shields. The Orphea, she was putting out damage. The crushing jaws just didn't weren't connecting as well as she wanted to in most of this the critical teams fights. So maybe if they want to go the Orphea again, they get more lockdown. They had the Johanna for the lockdown, but that was really all they had. The Zul'jin wasn't able to provide lockdown. The Dahaka wasn't able to provide much lockdown except that single target. So maybe they'll find something else like an ET. Maybe they'll take the ETC away, or find some other crowd control that will be able to help with the Orphea put a more solid and reliable crushing jaws down. Because if Orphea can land those crushing jaws, I expect a lot of those fights to go in their favor. But they just didn't have enough consistent CC to back it up. Alrighty, we are going to go to Infernal Shrines. So I'm going to get in there. I don't know which team picked it. Let me check real quick. Looks like first pick is going over to Team 1. So it looks like Phoenix Rising, or sorry, the side of Frankfurters decided to go with first pick again. And so Phoenix Rising picked the map, and it is Infernal Shrines. So let me get that updated real quick. All right, so Phoenix Rising going over to Infernal Shrine. A little bit of a different map, a little bit of a different strategy needing to go on here. Again, it'll be interesting to see if there's another good, a strong global presence going on this map. Since this is a fairly large map and there is objective spawning on the opposite side, it allows the potential to create pressure with a split pushing champion or a bright wing on one side of the map and then be able to teleport in for an objective fight. So we may see some of those priorities going over to the global champions, since it seemed like both teams were going with the globals, or at least the Frankfurters were. ETC decided to go the global just to respond to that pressure. But ETC is fairly good on this map. Orphea is again very strong on this map, especially with the fighting going on over an objective like the minions to get the shrine. So we could see a comp with the Orphea if they go with the Orphea again to more of a crushing or eternal feast if they can get like an ETC, if they can get that ETC with a Mosh. They may go for that with the Orphea as well. Um, Other champions that you could see, this isn't as big of a double soaking map. Sometimes if you get a good double soaker again, like the Zool, he can double soak well enough on this map that the rest of the team can 4-man push bottom again, since that's where all the camps are. Uh, I don't really, maybe that's in the plans of Frankfurters. They didn't like how the Zool was able to create that much pressure, and maybe they'll ban it out on this pick. But with three potential threats on the side of that Phoenix Rising Onyx seem to show, they all can't get banned out unless they just decide to not pick one in their first rotation of picks, and then then the Frankfurters get 3 bans. But I anticipate a ban change on the side of the Frankfurters. And then for Phoenix Rising Onyx, it'll be interesting. I was told that there would be the potential of a murky coming out tonight? Possibly. I would be so excited if that could happen. Uh, this would be a better map for the Murky. The Towers of Doom would have been a good map too, and we didn't see it there. So I'm hoping Murky does make a appearance tonight. Whether or not, if he doesn't, I fully understand. But if he does, I'll just be so excited to see a Murky going on in this game. Looks like folks, we're just going to be a few more seconds in this lobby. Looks like somebody's got something going on. We just have a small delay. Oh, okay. Looks like I'm getting all the readies coming in. So once the draft starts, I will switch over to that. And here we go. Game 2, Infernal Shrines. 1-0 lead on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. It would be nice for them, it'd be a great morale booster to take down the number one team, even if they're not able to make playoffs. To take down the number one team, show that not all was lost in this season. They grew as a team and they were able to come back and have a pretty strong presence here. We see the Zool getting almost instantly banned on the side of Frankfurter, so they don't want to mess with that Zool again, which I fully agree with. The amount of pressure he was able to put down was pretty insane. The Kel'Thas again getting banned out on the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx, so they're going with the similar bans that we saw in Game 1 so far. Second ban coming in on the side of Frankfurters, and they go with that ETC. So they're not going to elect to take the ETC. They're just going to ban it outright. So again, we saw the adjustment on Frankfurters. They 2 bans against that were the 2 biggest threats. They didn't go with the Rainer ban. I don't think they would first pick it here. Yeah, I would say go back to the Johanna. Johanna seemed to be working. It seemed to be, one of the things that was working really well for them. She was landing 3 or 4 man blessed shields. She was getting picks onto the Chromie. So going with that first pick, Johanna again. Solid play, and she's going to be able to provide again that early and mid game pressure. It's just that late game where she's going to fall off a little bit, but that does leave the Rainer open. If I was Phoenix Rising and I really wanted the Rainer, I would get him in this rotation because otherwise it could get banned out by the other side. But they decide to go with Brightwing and Diablo. So Global coming out with the Brightwing again, Diablo coming out on the side of for Kozer. Diablo is fairly good on this map. He's got stronger maps for sure. There's not as many walls to knock into, but there are plenty of walls around the objective, so he will still be able to get some of those picks around the objective. So instead of banning Rainer, they're just going to outright pick it on the side of Frankfurters and say, you've got to bring something else. So we already saw the Zool, the ETC, and the Rainer, which were the 3 strongest champions on Phoenix Rising, in my opinion, are now either banned or picked up by the opposing team. So they're going to have to come out with something completely different here. They could still go with the Chromie if they want it, but they may get hit banned here as well, and we just may see a complete ban. Or if it does get banned by the side of Phoenix Rising, so they don't want to mess with that Orphea. They saw that the potential for damage was there. They got the Malfurion now, who is one of those champions who can better set up that little more CC to set up the Orphea for the Crushing Jaws. So they just say no, we don't want to mess with the Orphea. And the good solid Orphea player can completely take control of a game. D.Va getting banned out on the side of the Frankfurters. Again, D.Va, anytime there's a fight over an objective like this, a big objective that the whole team has to respond to, D.Va just has so much potential with that mech bomb to zone and to do some serious damage, especially if she drops it on top of a really good Malfurion root. With the Diablo APOC as well on the side of Phoenix Rising, D.Va could create some serious damage on top of that. Chromie getting picked up again, so the Chromie didn't get banned, and they decided to pick it up again. The Chromie was putting out some damage. The Qs, once she got that quest finish, was able to put out some serious damage, and the Sylvanas getting picked up. I don't think it's a bad pick for sure. The Black Arrow is going to be able to again help the team disengage or pick a really good engage if they're able to find a good pick with the Diablo. Jaina getting picked up. Okay. So the Rexar, and I didn't mention the Rexar, but the Rexar is going to be a good response, a good bully in that top lane. He won't have as strong as team fighting presence, and I don't I don't particularly like him on Infernal Shrines, but it does fit pretty well with their comp. If it's going to be a pick comp, and it does allow the Jaina to be able to play a little more aggressively since they've got the Johanna and Rexar both with CC on the front line. And then we saw the Artanis being the last pickup on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. So a global ult, he can create pressure and not necessarily need to be with the team. But yeah, so looking at both of these comps, I mean, they did that second half of the pick ban phase really quickly. So I was like trying to get into a thought, and by the time I was like halfway through a thought, they're done. So, but I like the Sylvanas pick, being able to, if they're able to get the shrines, if they're able to create the pressure and get the shrines, Sylvanas is going to be able to cause a lot of chaos, with being able to again turn off the towers and forts and be able to cause the Punisher to do that much more damage. So on the side of the Frankfurters, we've got Dowling Pig on the Johanna, Boggs on the Rainer. We've got DJ Coldcut sitting on that Rexar. We've got Davy Jr. on the Malfurion, and we got Indecisive on the Jaina. Over on the side of Phoenix Rising, we got Chelsea sitting on the Chromie, Amusio on the Brightwing, Kozer sitting on the Diablo, Battle Troll on the Artanis, and Dead On sitting on that Sylvanas. So looking at team comps real quick, I do in this game, I do favor Frankfurter's comp. I think they've got a good response. They took that Rainer away. They do still have that Johanna engaged that was working well for them. And the Rexar, if they're able to, Rexar is able to be that front line as well and get some of those stuns down in those 5v5 fights. I think they just have a good way of zoning off that Diablo and creating that pressure to keep the Diablo away. Sylvanas getting stunned out by the Rex. Misha getting swapped in by the Artanis, but it's able to get away no problem. Johanna getting a 4-man knockup here. So already Frankfurt is being aggressive like they were last game and putting down some serious damage, creating, making the side of Phoenix Rising have to, heal up and respond. No aggressive rotations down. They just went down on their own sides. Kozer sitting inside that bush. Johanna walks into face check, but Kozer only being at half health really wasn't able to do a whole lot and just smartly goes down and helps the team farm the minions. And we're going to see this 4-man rotation going between mid and bot lane. And that's more what we're going to see instead of the solo laners doing the double soaking. And now it's going to be the 4-man rotating between bot and mid. Most of the pressure will still remain bot, but the 4-man will be the one that will continue to go get a lot of that soak. Top lane will stay pretty much top lane this match. Both teams seem to be picking up their camps. Side Frankfurt is picking up a little bit faster so that they can get some pressure going and hopefully go get the bottom camp. Brightwing going to teleport up and get Diablo a little bit healthier. And the side of Phoenix Rising, they're just going to go clear out that mid wave. They're pretty much at this point looking like they're going to concede that bot camp. The Frankfurters haven't started though. They're going to go back. They're going to stop. They don't want this Sylvanas passive being able to take down their entire wall. So they're going to go up and they're going to spawn. And so that bottom camp's going to be still available. And now it looks like the side of Phoenix Rising might go get that bot camp since they were able to create that pressure. And the Frankfurters were able to go, wanted to go respond and not let Sylvanas get all that extra pressure with their passive. A little bit slow on the camp clear though. Johanna is going to sniff this one out. She comes in and it looks like we may have a little bit of a skirmish. It's a 4v4 situation going on right now. The camp's not completely finished yet, but nice dive in by the Diablo. Oh, the Rainer's getting some serious damage though. Johanna going in, getting a nice 3-man rock up, and Diablo does go down. Diablo, he's not as tanky as he needs to be early in this game. He will get there eventually once those souls get stacked up and be able to take some of that abuse, but just early in the game, he's just not as able to take as much punishment. And when looks like the Frankfurters were able to execute that, identify that, and were able to focus him down. And so they get an early kill and first blood on their side, and now they will get that bottom camp as well. So good early lead coming out of the side of the Frankfurters. The camp or the initial spawn is over the top map. Frankfurters go ahead and starting up their camp. They're going to get good timing on this. The side of Phoenix Rising, Kozer's down here at the bottom. They may, at this point, since they're just behind everything, they may elect to just push this bottom lane and get some fort pressure bottom. Looks like Kozer's going to go soak mid. Sylvanas and Brightwing are going to just start pushing out this bot wave. They're not responding to their camp. They're not going to go get their camp. Artanis is going to just soak out this mid lane. It looks like they are just going to concede this over. Artanis does get rooted by the Malfurion, has to dash away, but he's not going to get back because unfortunately he's got to come back to where he dashed from, and he goes down. But like we said, the side of Phoenix Rising, they're just going to go down. They're going to try and create as much pressure as they can bot lane. Johanna's down here to respond, try to clear out some of these waves. Johanna is one of the better ones to respond onto this type of situation, so she does have a little bit stronger wave clear, but they may need to send some other help. Looks like Raynor and Malfurion are now on their way down. As you can see, that wall's already down, and it's starting to get some pressure onto this bottom fort. Johanna getting down to about a quarter health. She should be okay now that backup's here. They weren't able to get that health fountain down, so only about an eighth of the health lost over here. Meanwhile, up in this top lane, Jaina is starting to create some pressure. She's not too terribly worried about that swap since she's got minions taking the tower shots, and the tower pressure is going is being matched by the sides of Furters. Oh, looks sorry about that. It looks like we had a fight go down. Chromie was able to take down Malfurion. I didn't expect them to be much fighting going on, especially in Frankfurt since 3v4, but Johanna is looking like she's going to go down as well. Gets away with 80 health. Diablo getting a little aggressive, but he should be able to get away. Raynor already popped his main burst skill. The Punisher does eventually get picked up by the side of Frankfurt, and now they will push with this top Immortal. With that kill going over to the Phoenix Rising, though, they would be able to have the advantage, so they're going to come up and they're going to be able to contest what this Punisher does. It is a Frozen Punisher, so it did turn off the tower. Unfortunately, the Frozen Punisher doesn't just do as much damage as the other two, and so I think it was a smart idea for the Frankfurters just to back off. The Frozen Punisher isn't able to do much, but the Punisher is actually doing a lot of damage to this tower. Whether there was just not as much focus fire or it's because that front wall was already down, the Punisher does actually end up getting that fort. So big value play on the side of Frankfurters. They're able to get Soak in the middle and bot lane. They're increasing their XP lead to almost a full level now. They're able to get the opposing team's camp, and now they're picking up their own camp. So, you know, instead of pushing with the Punisher when they realized they were down 5v4, they just went and played the map, and they were able to paint it pretty blue in their favor and continue to grow their XP to almost a full level now. Jaina's going to go down. She's going to get some of this, finish off this trifecta of camp clearing. And it looks like Malfurion and Johanna are just going to continue to push with this Merc camp in the middle. So level 10s are going to come online. I fully anticipate to see the similar ultimates coming out on the Johanna. She's going to pick up that Blessed Shield. Raynor might, since they're on the aggressive side, might elect to go with that Hyperion. He does go with the Hyperion. Malfurion going more with that Tranquility ultimate, trying to keep his team alive, not electing to go for the Silence. Jaina going for that Ring of Frost, so they do have the Ring of Frost available for the Blessed Shield and for the Misha Stun and for the Malfurion route. So Jaina going for that burst combo, looking for it to land a good solid Ring of Frost and be able to burst down the opposing team. And Frankfurt is just being absolutely aggressive here and taking the camp, and rightfully so. They have level 10 advantage. They have ultimate. There's nothing that the Phoenix Rising Onyx want to do with this, and they take the opposing team's siege camp and are now looking to possibly pick a fight in this mid lane. Diablo smartly backing off, sensing that something was up. And they're just looking right now on the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx to just play safe, get up to their level 10 as well, get onto the same talent tier again. Looks like they're going to try and come up and make a play for this Rexar. The swap lands onto Misha, but he's using the swap to get closer to the Rexar. Johanna comes in, lands a 3-man Blessed Shield, Right Wing teleporting in. It looks like a 4v2 situation. No more members of the side of Frankfurters are here yet. Johanna getting swapped back in, but Johanna looks like the team was coming to help out, but then they decided to back off. So maybe a little miscommunication there. Johanna's like, okay, I got swapped in. I'm ready for this fight since you're all here, and was looking to try and get back into that fight, and the rest of the team just backed off. So maybe the call was to disengage. Johanna got swapped in and was like, okay, I want to go in since it looked like the team was rotating up. But ultimately, not too much loss there. They'll get all their lanes were pushing, so the Phoenix Rising has to go respond to that. They are able to pick up their own camp, and Johanna will be back up before this next objective fight. So just a little bit of experience going over to the sides of Phoenix Rising, but they weren't able to, Frankfurters were so far ahead and had the map pressure that death didn't really cause them too much grief. Artanis coming in, trying to get looking for maybe a potential engage on the Rexar, just lands his Twin Blade and backs off. But this blue camp is starting to get pushed up here on the side of the Frankfurters, and the Phoenix Rising is going to have to go up and respond to it like they are right now. Giving priority to establishing positioning to Frankfurters of this objective, they're going to just start burning it down as quickly as they can. Jaina's going to create a little more pushing pressure. She doesn't necessarily need to be on this as long as the rest of the team. Johanna, Raynor, and Malfurion, they should be able to create enough clearing that she can just respond when the team fight breaks out. And looks like that's where we're going. Malfurion getting fairly low. APOC coming down. Looks like in the back of the line we got Amuso getting fairly low, but she's still alive on that Brightwing somehow, and Jaina goes down. Brightwing does eventually go down. Nice 4-man condemned by the Johanna. Sylvanas having to try and get out. Rexar getting zoned out of the fight by Artanis. Chromie does go down. And now all looks like they're trying to get the Diablo, and Rexar is wanting to chase up top. Diablo's getting fairly low. Raynor, oh, nice heal, and the Diablo should get away no problem. Looks like the Artanis was getting pinged out too, since he was kind of really deep in the behind enemy lines, but they elected to chase the Diablo instead, and so Artanis is able to get out as well. But this means 2 deaths going again over to, or 2 kills for the Frankfurters. They are able to finish this Punisher up. This is going to be your Arcane Punisher. This is the one that you want to push with, as it's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Phoenix Rising look like they're trying to get a camp, get a little bit of map pressure, and they do. They're able to sneak it, but this Punisher is going to cause a lot of problems. The camp is being cleared up. Now they're starting to rotate up. Punisher jumps in, gets 2-man stun onto the Diablo and the Artanis, and it looks like here they come right behind it. Frankfurters are coming in looking for any fight they can get. Johanna landing a 3-man plus a shield, 3-man condemn. Misha getting a little bit low, but they're looking like they're just wanting to focus the tower instead of getting the kills. The Arcane Punisher jumps in again, lands on Diablo, but he's able to just walk away, and this Punisher able to get the fort, secure the fort. Not going to get much more outside of the fort, maybe get a tower. Doesn't look like he's going to in the long run, but still, that's another fort going over, and they're rotating down to finish off this bottom fort as well. Phoenix Rising, they're trying to rotate down to see if they could get something here. Diablo jumps in, but a nice Ring of Frost laying off Diablo. Apoc goes down, doesn't hit on anybody, and that's Diablo going down from the Ring of Frost by Jaina. Follow up, Artanis does get stunned. If Johanna can land a condemn onto the Artanis, or if Misha can get her stun out, this Artanis is dead to rights, and he gets stunned, and he is gone. That's 2 kills. Diablo is back up, but he is not nearly as tanky. He did have enough souls that he was able to respawn near instantly, but he is now going to be very squishy for the next 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how well he's able to soak up some of those souls again. Bottom camp's going to go over to the Rexar, so about a level, they're maintaining their level lead, but more importantly, they're now starting to develop a lot of map pressure on the side of the Frankfurters. They're able to get all 3 forts. Now they'll have minions pushing in all 3 lanes every so often, those siege minions, and they're able to more easily paint this map blue, which is what they want to do. They want to just keep that experience going. They want to keep in the lead. The way back in for Phoenix Rising, from what I've been seeing in their team fights, if they can, again, just rely on these Frankfurters to get look for that moment when they get just a little too aggressive with that Johanna play, and then be able to counter engage, disengage and counter engage off of it. But they need to do it on even talent tiers. And right now, with the map getting painted and the pressure being committed to the bot lane by Frankfurters, they're just not able to catch up in that experience. Looks like Diablo may want to go try to pick a fight before 16s come out. This is the even talent tier that we're looking for. He lands the knockback onto the Jaina, but remember, Diablo is very squishy. Ooh, Jaina lands the Ring of Frost in the back line onto the Brightwing. Brightwing getting low, but she does disengage. Artanis getting fairly low on the front line and does go down. Diablo does eventually get healed back up to full. If the Ring of Frost had landed onto him, he was probably dead to rights as well. Brightwing staying fairly low in the back line, trying to keep everybody alive and healed up. Diablo getting rooted by Malfurion, but just going to walk away, no problem. So again, 1 kill going over. A little bit of a pressure was created by Phoenix Rising getting that camp, but it's only probably going to end up getting maybe 1 tower. And meanwhile, Frankfurters are just going to create some of that pressure in that mid lane. Got the last one, the Mortar Shrine coming up on this top lane. Again, this is another one that if the Frankfurters are able to get it, will be able to siege that top lane down. And I think the main thing that we're seeing right here is the Phoenix Rising, that Sylvanas pick, it would have been had so much more value if they were able to get these camps, but, they lost that fight early on in the game that they just weren't able to contest. Tried to elect a split push with the Sylvanas. It was responded to well by the Frankfurters, so they weren't able to get the value there. And then that second fight over the Arcane Punisher, they just weren't able to get the fight that they were looking for, lost 2 members, and so that's 2 Punishers going over, and looks like the third one's already getting worked on and may be able to. 16s just got picked up by the sides of Phoenix Rising, so if they get up there, they may be able to contest this. It's only at 25, but it looks like they're going to elect to just play passively, let Frankfurters get this one as well, and try to pick the fight over the Punisher when it comes to Siege to Keep. Hopefully rely on that too aggressive play from the Frankfurters over the keep wall play to be able to do a good counter engage and find a fight there. So, this Punisher will be able to cause a lot of damage. This Punisher is going to be pretty chaotic. Jaina's not with the team yet, so if they're looking for that fight, this is the moment. They know Jaina is still mid. Now they have no vision of where the Jaina is. So it looks like Artanis is just trying to bait it back and be able to bring it into the tower range. Artanis only getting down to about quarter health. Johanna does step forward, pops the Unstoppable to get some of that pressure, but she is taking tower shots. She's getting down to about half health. The Punisher's getting down to about health, so good damage is going down to this Punisher. It does land two-man stun onto the Artanis and to the Diablo. It's about at an 8th HP, and the Ring of Frost does go out. It doesn't land onto anybody. Brightwing's going to keep this Artanis alive. The keep will eventually go down. This is probably... Oh, the Brightwing does get rooted and does go down as well. Artanis going down, the Hyperion coming out. I believe that was the Jaina numbing blast that came through that was able to root everybody and keep them, because the Ring of Frost didn't hit. And so good positioning by the Jaina, recognition that she could get a root there onto that Brightwing and be able to execute that kill. And now it looks like the Frankfurters are looking to possibly end the game here. It's 20-second timers. I don't know if they necessarily have the ability to do this at this point, since the other lanes are not pushing. It looks like they just decide to elect to back off and finish the game on another play. They do have the experience lead. They're pretty much at this point just going to look to get their 20s, and once they're at their 20s, then they'll find a fight. While the two members are still dead, they can create this pressure into the mid lane. They do have a 5v3 situation. They're getting as much as they can. Chromie does put down the Sands to try and keep everybody zoned off and maybe get a catch. Misha does get caught out here. Poor Misha going down. Diablo does dive all the way in. Sylvanas diving in as well. It looks like they're trying to pick a fight here on the side of Phoenix Rising. Johanna coming back in, getting a nice condemned 3-man Blessed Shield. Johanna just doing some serious work, saying, okay, you want to pick this fight? I will take this fight. Diablo does go down. Johanna getting down to about half health, backing up, but again, that's another kill going over to the Frankfurters. They're that much closer to their level 20s. Diablo is going to come back due to the souls, but now he's just not as tanky. And with this camp, this might put Frankfurters at their 20s, and now they will be able to pick a fight. Looks like they're going to try and come up and contest this. Diablo does dive in. He is able to get a knockback, but remember, he is very squishy. Root comes out, Ring of Frost onto Diablo. Diablo getting fairly low. He's just not thinking. Brightwing comes in to save his life. Artanis getting low. Raynor is just in the back line picking on that Sylvanas. Oh, nice slamming stands by the Chromie, but just not able to save enough. She's getting all four, but Raynor is just the one that's not caught, and Raynor's going to do all this damage. Raynor just doing the flank play by himself and picking up 3 kills. He took that Sylvanas down and the Brightwing and the Chromie all by himself, and this should be game 2 going over to Frankfurters. You know, it seemed like do-or-die situation for Phoenix. They did need to probably pick that fight to find any way back in. The unfortunate part is Diablo had just died, so he wasn't very tanky, and he did get killed quickly. The Chromie was trying to get that sands down to create some disengage, but GG's coming out. Game 2 going over to the Frankfurters, and that means we are going to head over to a Game 3. I'm excited. I love Game 3s. It's always fun when it's a back and forth series going between two teams. So I like the way Frankfurters responded. I like the way that they, got adjusted their pick and ban strategy. It looked like they were able to get the picks that they wanted to, had a better answer for Phoenix Rising this time around, keeping them off that ETC, keeping them off that Zool, and able to create that pressure with the Johanna. Johanna had much better follow-up with the Malfurion route, with the Jaina, Ring of Frost, and the Misha stun. And so now that Johanna was able to get in there, get that engage that she wanted, and have the follow-up, it looks like the fights were just much more cleanly going over to the Frankfurters, more what they wanted in that first game. And, it doesn't help when Raynor comes around from behind the team and is able to pick up 3 kills pretty much by himself, uncontested. Damage was a little bit lower this game. The Sylvanas pick, if it could have been executed a little bit better by Phoenix, and if they could get a Punisher, then we could have seen that Sylvanas coming in a little bit better. It wasn't a bad pick. It's just they weren't able to get the map control that they wanted to early in the game. They fell behind fairly quickly. I think they were a level behind before level 10s. And then when you're behind and your entire strategy is around getting a Punisher and using the Sylvanas with the Punisher, it became a little bit of a challenge to be able to get that Sylvanas to have as much value. She was landing some pretty crucial black arrows to keep the team alive a little bit longer in some of those fights and annoy the Frankfurters from the fights that they wanted to pick, but ultimately, Frankfurters came out with regrouped, came out with the comp that they wanted, and were able to execute it much more cleanly, and were able to take away game two. So now we're just going to be waiting around. Let me get it back over to the map screen so we can see how this series has played out so far. So game one was picked by Phoenix Rising. They went to Towers of Doom and won it. Game two was picked by Phoenix Rising on Infernal Shrines, but Frankfurters were able to come away. So looking at the maps that we have left, Hanamura Temple, Battlefield of Eternity, Volskaya, and Altaric Pass. It's, Phoenix Rising is able to pick the map again. I don't know how they play these maps, which map they would elect to pick the remaining four. I'm hoping we get a Hanamura because I love casting Hanamura. I just don't get to see it very often, so that's going to be a fun one if we can get that one. But Battlefield of Eternity is always a good time to go to. Volskaya is usually a good one to go to. That team coordination, that pressure over the objective fights, which it looks like Frankfurters do a very good job, especially with this Infernal Shrines map. So I expect if Frankfurters get the pick, they're going to go to Volskaya Foundry. But if Phoenix Rising gets the pick, they may pick something else. Okay, just got the lobby invite, and we are going to Volskaya, and it was picked by the Frankfurters. So Phoenix Rising elected to get first pick, and so the Frankfurters got map pick, and like I was hoping, they picking something to their strength, they elected to go with the Volskaya Foundry. So Volskaya Foundry, another map that we are going to be fighting over an objective point. This time we're not trying to pick up minions, they're actually going to be skirmishing, so it's going to be team fighting over that objective. Um, I so from what I saw on the side of the Frankfurters, they like doing that objective fighting over that area. They were able to on Infernal Shrines cleanly pick those fights that they were looking for over the objective. So I give them a little bit of an edge as this is a fairly similar map. The protector is something that just depends on how good your players are utilizing the protector. But this is a fairly similar map to the Infernal Shrines. We should see that 4-man being the ones that are rotating between top and mid this time, and bottom lane will be pretty much where that solo lane pressure should be. We're just waiting to get everybody set up here. I heard somebody say totally not. I assume you are totally not ready. Sorry, I was sitting on team 2, and they were like, "You're not ready. You're on team 2." I was like, "What are you talking about? I want to play. Casting's fun, but I want to be on a team and do some fighting as well." But now it looks like we got both teams. Now I am correctly in the observer slot instead of being on one team. So we're just getting ready for the two teams to give the all clear, and then we should jump into game 3 here. So I expect to see similar bans coming out on the side of Frankfurters again. Banning away that ETC, banning away that Zool. Now it's time for Phoenix Rising to adjust a little bit. We may see that Johanna getting banned here. It looks like the Rainers being a high priority pick, or at least a contested pick by both teams. So maybe we'll see it banned. Maybe we'll see it be first pick priority since the Phoenix Rising did elect to go for that first pick. Or maybe they're going to elect to pick that Johanna themselves and deny it from the Frankfurters. I don't anticipate seeing the Rexar again on this map, but we may. I didn't expect to see Rexar on Infernal Shrines either, and he did phenomenal. Created the pressure, was able to get the stuns when he needed to, was able to be in the fights with his team. So we may see that Rexar again on this map. Maybe the Orphea doesn't get banned this time through because of the bans, and so we may get to see an Orphea game again. But I anticipate some sort of adjustments going over on the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx, but they do elect to keep it consistent. Ban Kael'thas first 3 games in a row. So Kael'Thas getting the ban. That must mean that somebody on Frankfurters just plays a really, really mean Kael'Thas. If they're that terrified on to ban it first 3 games. Zool getting banned on the side of the Frankfurters. So we got another nod to the Zool ban. You know, created just a lot of pressure in game 1 Towers of Doom map. So we don't want to see that Zool again. On the side of Phoenix Rising, they're looking like they're just going to take a few more seconds to figure out what they want their last ban to be. And they're going to go with the Rexar. So they do elect to go with the Rexar ban. So like I said, I wasn't anticipating, Rexar. I wasn't anticipating Rexar pick on this map. It can be played, but they didn't like what they saw in Infernal Shrines from the Rexar, and so they just, respect ban going over to the Rexar play. And ETC getting banned again by Frankfurter. So the Zool ETC, the two that caused the most chaos in that Towers of Doom map, getting banned out right away by Frankfurters. That means Kozer's not going to get on that ETC. Maybe he goes back on that Diablo. I thought his Diablo play was actually fairly good. He just, every fight that he needed to be the tanky Diablo, he had just died right before on another team fight, so he was squishy. If he had been tanky, maybe the fights probably would have gone, because his engages were fairly good. But Gazlo, the one that got banned, is now the first pick on the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx. That does allow Diva and Johanna to get picked up by Frankfurter. So the Diva does slip through the first ban phase, isn't banned out because the Rexar was banned. And the Johanna wasn't first picked, but the Gazlo wasn't banned either because they're still doing the Zool ETC. So the Gazlo gets through, the Johanna and the Diva get through, and now we got a Stukov Murden. Okay, so we're seeing something completely different coming out from the side of Phoenix Rising. They're just completely changing strategies here and going with a different comp. It's going to be interesting to see what mage they pick up with that Gazlo. They got the Stukov to put the silence down in that grab bomb when he gets it off. And Murden's not necessarily the biggest threat for comboing with a Gazlo, but Murden is able to provide that pick isolation and to be able to help his team peel. Jaina Raynor getting picked up right away again by the side of Frankfurter, so they don't want Raynor going over to the Phoenix Rising Onyx. They'll take it themselves. And Jaina, she had several good Ring of Frost, and she landed some of those critical roots at level 16 with that talent. So she was able to create a lot of that CC pressure and then the burst damage to be able to get the team some of those kills that they may not have otherwise gotten. So I like the Jaina getting picked up again here. They're able to create a lot more pressure with that Jaina, and we're seeing Orphea Varian. Okay, so Orphea, a pick that I expected to see with the Gazlo. Orphea is able to combo either the Crushing Jaws or the Eternal Feast off the Gazlo. Varian, I did not expect to see. I don't think that's going to be a taunt variant. It's probably going to be a Colossal Smash variant. Maybe it'll be a taunt variant. They could run a taunt variant and just look to lock down targets for that Orphea to kill or for that grab bomb. But the Malfurion getting picked up again on the side of the Frankfurter. So we're seeing very similar comp coming out again on the side of Frankfurters. They have all that lockdown that they need. They, picked up the Malfurion. The Johanna is the one that likes to be aggressive. She does like to go in and set the team up for success. Just in game 1, they didn't have that follow-up CC to lock everybody down when Johanna was landing these 3 or 4 Mind Blessed Shields. Game 2, they changed that. They picked up the Malfurion. They picked up the Jaina. They got the lockdown, and they just were able to snowball these fights with the Malfurion and Jaina. So picking up the Malfurion, I like it again. Being able to get that follow-up for that Johanna so she can be a little more aggressive, and they can follow up on that. Game 3 underway on the side of Frankfurters. We've got Indecisive on the Jaina, Boggs on the Raynor, Dallying Pig on the Johanna, DJ Cold Cuts on the Diva, and Davy Jr. on the Malfurion. Over for the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx, we've got Chelsea sitting on the Orphea, Amusio, sorry, I always struggle with that name, on the Stukov. Kozer sitting on that Murden, Battle Troll sitting on that Varian, and Dead On the Gazlo. So we've got a Varian, Gazlo, and a Murden. They got a very, very tanky frontline and a lot of good CC. It's going to be interesting that Varian goes. Already he's going the High King's Quest, so it's probably not going to be that Taunt Varian. It's probably looking like it's going to be that Colossal Smash Varian. I don't anticipate a Twin Blade just because this map is much smaller and he can't create enough pressure with it. But Varian going and getting a nice little nudge, love tap over to the Malfurion. Malfurion backing off. Murden does get the stun onto the Jaina in the front of the team. Jaina getting down to about half health, but she just is able to walk away. And both teams just, you know, letting each other know they're here and they're going to go on to their respective ways. So we are going to see the 4-man rotating between the mid and the top lane, and that solo lane going to be bot lane this game instead. And so Johanna going in, getting a little bit of pressure down. Getting down to about a 3rd HP, pops the Unstoppable to get away. Orphea was able to put down enough damage that she was, you know, scaring off that Johanna a bit. Gazlo is sitting in the 4-man. I think that's kind of that's a little interesting, but you know, it makes sense with the way they're deciding to build the variant. I don't typically see a Gazlo going into the 4-man, so this will be fun to see if he's able to keep those turrets alive and create the pressure. But both teams going back to that mid lane. Root going out onto the coaster. D.Va is getting low in that bot lane, but she should be able to jump out of her mech and you know, be in baby D.Va form and get away no problem. Not much going on in this mid lane fight. Every team just kind of, both teams are harassing each other a little bit, not causing too much chaos. Kozer does aggressively path here. I like it. I've been waiting to see if it happened on Infernal Shrines. Does knock the Johanna off. Wasn't able to find a target that he was looking for. He was looking more for a squishy, but all the squishies went down, and they're going to start up this camp. Meanwhile, Gazlo's going to go, and he's going to take over his own camp here. Both teams should have their turrets getting ready for that first objective fight that will be over mid. So the variant does go with the Twin Blade, so it is a Twin Blade variant. So he is going for that fast auto attack speed. Johanna getting a little caught out, but she should, you know, pops the Unstoppable and get away, no problem. So variant is going to try and just create a lot of pressure with that Twin Blade split pushing and being able to put down you know, consistent quick damage onto the target that's being called out. He's not going to have necessarily the burst damage. They had the Orphea for quite a bit of burst, so he won't be able to pair up with the Orphea to cause, you know, a squishy in the back line, which is kind of what I thought he was going to go, considering that the Johanna likes to be aggressive. Maybe he could have snuck in from behind on the variant and blown up a squishier target in the back. But he likes to go for that Twin Blade. Gazlo goes ahead and he picks up his camp for his team, this siege camp. Other team on the side of Frankfurters, they're picking theirs up as well. So both teams doing a pretty standard start here, not really fighting. Both teams taking all the camps on their own side. No team deciding to go for the medical camp. And it looks like the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx are going to go ahead and be the first ones to start channeling this objective. D.Va, the one thing that in the soul lane, D.Va is going to be able to push out this lane a lot faster than the Varian and be able to get away from the Varian, since there's just not a lot of lockdown that the Varian had. So she's going to be able to bully the Varian. Varian's going to be farming under his tower quite a bit. So it looks like that's what they're going to use as kind of to create their pressure for the Frankfurters, is D.Va get some pressure down and then come rocket boost and come join her team for a fight. They went up and they cleared out the Phoenix Rising's siege camp to allow their top camp to get a little more pressure, trying to get onto that same talent tier. Now both teams are on that level 7 talent tier that it'll pretty much be just waiting to have a fight break out over this mid lane. Varian is getting caught out a little bit here. He should get away no problem. There's a nice collapse by the sides of the Frankfurters. Just weren't able to actually get the kill. But Raynor is getting caught out on that mid lane. Getting stunned by the Gazla. Orphea is able to put down the Crushing Jaws and finish off that kill. Or sorry, not Crushing Jaws, but she is able to, you know, press that W and get that final burst going down. So it's a 5v4 situation. Phoenix Rising finding a pick that they needed. Johanna going in, getting a 5-man condemned, just knocking everybody around. Jaina getting fairly low in that backline, but D.Va getting knocked out of her baby mech. She gets knocked out in the middle of the team, getting low, is going to go down here. Jaina getting caught out in front. Gazlo's not going to land the stun, but Varian may be able to put some damage down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any lockdown, so he's going to have to back up. But another kill going over to Phoenix Rising, and they now have about a full level lead. They do have low health bars, and they haven't been able to flip the objective over to their side yet. So the objective continued to click in favor of Frankfurters, but as long as they can get healthy, they should be able to create pressure in this 5v4 situation before D.Va gets back here and continue to Jaina getting caught out by the Varian and the Orphea getting deleted almost instantly. Raynor getting stunned out by the Murden has to go away. Again, another kill going over to Phoenix Rising, and they are just controlling this objective. You know, the Frankfurters, they just needed to regroup, wait for D.Va to get back, and then take the fight. There wasn't enough time, but they elected to go and be aggressive, and now they have to fight without the Jaina, because if they don't, this first objective is going to go over to Phoenix Rising. Gazlo getting a little low in the back line, but he is able to get away and put some damage on D.Va. D.Va coming down to baby D.Va form, has to back off smartly. Johanna getting down to about half HP. Murden just in the middle of this team along with Varian. They just showing no fear and are able to do some damage, but baby D.Va does go down from the Murden, and that's another kill going over to Phoenix Rising. So that's been 4 kills over this objective. Raynor trying to get a kill for his team, wasn't able to finish off the Varian, gets overextended, and now he's going to suffer for that. So again, they're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to get these kills, but it's the Phoenix Rising. They're going back to that first game, although they were being a fairly aggressive and a little more aggressive in that fight than what they were in the first game, and they were able to get some kills. The Varian, he is able to get around like I was expecting, you know, come from the sides and get some of that burst, especially what they were able to put down onto that Jaina with him and Orphea. I just expected he was going to do it with the Colossal Smash, but he elects to, you know, do it with the Twin Blades, and, you know, it was working. So we now see level 10s coming online for the sides of Phoenix Rising. Gazlo does go the Grav Bomb. Orphea does go for the Crushing Jaws. Stukov elects to go for the push instead of the Flailing Swipe. So he's looking to just kind of isolate, have that strong initial disengage, maybe looking to just land it on the Johanna and push her out of a fight. There he does it right there. Push the Johanna away. Maybe if he can get a really good one, he can push her far enough away that they can re-engage on a 5v4 situation if the Johanna's out of the fight. But Murden looking for more. They are on their 10s. They do want this fight. Grab Bomb going down, hitting the Malfurion. Orphea able to follow up with the burst damage, and that's 2 kills going down. They had just an enormous amount of crowd control going down there between the Stukov, the Gazlo Grab Bomb, and then the Murden able to stun with his skew, and he's not done. He wants more. Looking for the Jaina, trying to get him. The stun does go down. She's at 70 health, puts down the Ring of Frost, isn't able to get the kill. Wow, Jaina just getting away barely, but Varian, while this whole thing is going on and this entire fight is going on, Varian is just going around and, you know, having his way with the map. He ends up going and taking the opponent's turret, and now the side of Phoenix Rising, they're going over and they're going to get this health camp. I really like what I'm seeing out of Phoenix Rising right now in this third game. You know, they had a struggle in that second game fighting over objective points, but this third game, they have just been taking every fight that they know they have advantage in, and they're executing it very cleanly and able to, you know, get all these kills. And now they have an entire level and a half lead on the side of Phoenix Rising. They're going to get their 13s online. They may have that 13 talent tier advantage since they're so far ahead. By the time that B comes up, that second objective comes up, that they'll be able to, you know, be able to get a good chunk of that objective taken before the 13s come online for the Frankfurters. Gazlo going over, and he's just getting his turret camp up, you know, trying to get ahead on those turrets, and 13s now coming online for the side of the Phoenix Rising Onyx. Johanna did do a little bit of aggressive, maybe looking for that pick onto Orphea. Orphea smartly backed away. Murden was unable to land the stun onto the Johanna. But Varian is just having his way down here, creating as much pressure as he can. This is where the Twin Blades will be better. He's able to get that split push pressure. He needs to be careful because the members of Frankfurters are rotating down. He does back off, and he will get out of this cleanly. Meanwhile, mid lane, since the two members rotated, Raynor is going to get caught out by the Murden stun. Crushing Jaw is going to go down. 2-man Crushing Jaws by the Orphea. There was no Grav Bomb on top of it. I don't know if Gazlo just didn't think that the Crushing Jaws were going to land. Maybe he thought everybody was going to get away. So the Grav Bomb didn't go down to kind of finish off that wombo. Orphea does use the Crushing Jaws, gets everybody to about half health, but they are able to get away and clean themselves back up. And now coming up, they're looking to pick a fight. Jaina getting a 3-man Ring of Frost. Stukov getting fairly. Gazlo does land a 3-man Grav Bomb. Jaina getting low again, but doesn't go down, and Gazlo is the first one to go down. Johanna getting a little aggressive. The towers. Nope, she's going to be able to get away with, again, in those 70s, those double-digit health. Orphea now looking potentially to re-engage, but she needs to be careful. She is fairly low, and Raynor is right there. Raynor's looking to potentially try and get this kill with the D.Va, but Stukov able to keep Orphea alive. So Phoenix Rising, instead, they're just going to be content with this variant going down, creating a lot of pressure bot lane. He will get that health tower, which will set them up for Objective C. They're looking like they're just going to go play the map while they wait for Gazlo to come back up. Will they come up and contest it when Gazlo comes up? That's to be seen, but I think they can still do it since they have... Oh, Jaina getting caught out here a little bit. Gets stunned by the Murden. Orphea putting down some damage, but not able to finish up the kill. Or Johanna gets knocked away, but that's 3 members down. They don't have a healing turret fountain there to go heal it, so this should be the objective going back over to the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. They still have that level and a half lead, so even though they had that little bit of a rocky fight, they're still comfortably in the driver's seat. They're in control of this objective. It's going to be a fight. Both teams are on even talent tiers, so they will have a fight over this next objective. Johanna coming in about half health. Murden getting down to half. He's going to need to drop that. He does. Ring of Frost going down. Grav Bomb lands on 4 people, but there was no real follow-up for the Grav Bomb. Johanna did go down. Varian just trying to get in, do as much damage as he can to the Jaina. Jaina is able to get away, provide that little bit of a burst to get the Varian out of there. And now it's 2 kills to 1 for the Frankfurters, but they're not done. Orphea getting fairly low from the Diva, able to keep herself aligned with the Chaos passive, and she is able to get herself away with the on point, but still that looked like it was with a 4-man grab bomb that Gazlo was able to land that they could have snowballed that fight in their favor, but whether it looks like Orphea was just not quite in good enough position to be able to follow up from that grab bomb and create that damage. And so, unfortunately, a 4-man grab bomb gets wasted by Dead On, but it was a fantastic grab bomb, exactly what the team needed. But now look at this, they are on their 16s. The objective hasn't gone over yet to the side of Frankfurt, so Phoenix Rising can get on it. If Murden can get over onto the objective, they do have 16 advantage. They are looking for this fight. He does get the overtime started, but it doesn't look like the team is going to commit to going ahead and getting back on there. They are going to let the objective go over. The Protector does go to Frankfurters, and now Frankfurters are going to push this top lane. Protector's just going to go and get as much damage to this front wall. It'll be interesting to see if they decide to stay here or if they're going to go bot lane and try to create some pressure bot lane. Looks like they're going to back up, but Johanna does land a 2-man Blessed Shield. The Hyperion does go out. Varian does get fairly low, gets caught up in crowd control and goes down. Murden getting down to about half health. The Hyperion continuing to zone, and this tower should go down to the side of Frankfurters. They may look to get some more with that. They may decide to back off and go to the bot lane. Looks like they're committing 100%. Nice 3-man condemned by the Johanna. Johanna's coming in huge again. Jaina getting knocked backwards that time. Orphea got away fairly low, but she should be fine. So Phoenix Rising, a little bit of a scary situation. They still do have the experience lead. Good news for them, they didn't lose that bot health for the health fountain. The Frankfurters decided to go to try and create some more keep pressure top lane, and so they should be able to have the pressure, assuming that they can continue to protect this bot lane. They should have the fountain pressure when this next objective over C on the bot lane comes over. So now we're looking at the experience for each team. Johanna being trying to sniff out this turret camp, but it was already picked up by Phoenix Rising. Malfurion lands the root. Murden getting fairly low here. He does indeed end up going down. The amount of burst damage coming out from the Jaina and the Rainer was enough to get that Malfurion chunked down. Good root by the Malfurion to follow up with the Jaina onto the Murden, and Murden does go down here. So that's 40 seconds where the Frankfurters can start creating some map pressure and maybe getting this experience gap closed all the way. That would help them significantly for the remainder of this game, especially this fight that's going to go over the C objective, that they can get that experience and close it so that the 20s don't come online for Phoenix Rising when they're still level 19 and down in talent tier. So it looks like they've closed it to about a half level now. They do have their siege camp pushing in the top lane. Phoenix Rising should have no problem clearing that up while they wait for Murden to respawn, but the pressure can go back to that mid lane from the side of the Frankfurters and maybe get a good chunk of this mid fort down, possibly even get the entire fort with how much pressure they're able to put onto it, and it will go over to them. So that's going to be even more passive experience going over on the side of the Frankfurters. So through Gazbomb does go down, is able to catch Malfurion. Malfurion gets caught in the Crushing Jaws, goes down, but Jaina lands a 2-man Ring of Frost. Orphea getting traded out, Gazlo going down as well. Murden has to jump out. He does pop the avatar, but he's just trying to disengage for his team. Diva wants more, Johanna wants more. Jaina's trying to get some poke down. The health passive does go down, or the health camp does go down on the side of the Frankfurters, and they are able to heal up just a little bit. But that's, again, 2 kills for Frankfurters to 1 on Phoenix Rising, and this experience is pretty much even Steven at this point. Frankfurters also have the ability to go ahead and start getting some of these camps and start painting the map blue, which will help their team, have even more pressure over that bottom objective. Phoenix Rising, they're going to go ahead and try and get their siege camp, get that experience lead back, try and get some of that map pressure. But here comes the Frankfurters trying to see if they can get a catch onto this Varian. Varian's getting down to about half health, pops to protect, but it shouldn't be enough. He's probably going to go down. He does go down here. Stukov not able to push away to save, and the Frankfurters, again, staggering another kill onto Phoenix Rising Onyx. And now these stagger deaths are starting to be long. Looks like the Phoenix Rising are looking to pick a fight. They notice Malfurion isn't here. Grab Bomb is huge and gets 2 kills onto both the damage targets onto onto the Frankfurters. This is fantastic by the Phoenix Rising Onyx, noticing that the Malfurion wasn't there, that the Malfurion was in the mid lane, looked like clearing out some minions, and they were able to get a 2-man grab bomb and just explode that Jaina and Raynor and be able to turn this fight around. And now they are in control. They will have level 20s coming online. The objective has opened up, and they just hit their level 20, so we're going to see that starting to come online. Varian going for that Glory to the Alliance, getting a lot of that healing power coming out from the Varian, maybe to help himself keep alive or keep the team alive. He should be able to pick up their turret here. Gazlo going up, just trying to clear out some of that top pressure, but nobody's going to stand on the point and start the channeling for the side of Phoenix Rising Onyx. They're just, as a team, going around and getting some map pressure. They should go over and look at this turret, since they still know that there's 3 2-second death timers. Then they do. They go over, they get the turret camp on this side. I don't expect Frankfurters to go ahead and try and contest this, and this should be another turret going over. So now with that pick that they were able to get with the Malfurion not being there, the health camp is gone for the Frankfurters, and Phoenix Rising are able to get both turret camps, so they should have advantage. More importantly, the health fountain isn't here on the side of the Frankfurters, so they have to pick a definitive fight and win that definitive fight. Turret's already going down on the side of Phoenix Rising. Johanna goes down. Ring of Frost does not land onto anybody. Varian goes in, gets the Malfurion down to half health. Crushing Jaws goes down, lands onto the Jaina. Follow-up stun is there, but the Orpheus is getting fairly low. Diva Bomb does not land on anybody. Grab Bomb goes down. 4-man grab bomb from the Gazlo. Gazlo's bombs are coming in huge. Dead on is dead on. Diva is starting to get fairly low. She's going to come out in baby Diva form. She's going to go down. That Malfurion does not get hit, just steps right behind the minion to not get stunned there. But that is 3 kills to 1 on the side of Phoenix Rising. They're going to get this pressure, this protector. They're going to be able to push up probably all the way to the keep. The good news for Frankfurters, they got to get through this bottom fort. They got to get through the keep wall. They got to get through the keep before they can get to the core. So I don't expect this to be a game-ending push, but this is going to at least get the fort, probably get the keep, and get a lot of map pressure for the side of Phoenix Rising. Give them that little bit of breathing room that they've been looking for. It seemed like this whole game, the pressure had just been on them as far as the map goes, and they've been looking to try and open this map up, and now they have a chance. Protector should go through here. Jaina wants to be a little bit careful on her positioning. She doesn't want to get stunned out by the Protector, because Varian will be able to get in there and cause some damage, but there's no way that they're going to protect this keep. This keep is just going to go all the way down. Protector should be able to just do its damage and walk away, no problem. Gazlo and Varian hanging out, being there for the escape. Johanna does actually land a condemn onto the Gazlo. Root is followed up onto the Gazlo. Gazlo pops the Unstoppable to get away, but Blessed Shield goes down. Gazlo's getting fairly low. Gazlo does go down here. Ring of Frost going out, doesn't land onto anybody, but now Varian is stuck behind enemy lines without any help. The keep did go down, but at what cost? Gazlo and Varian do both go down. Maybe they were just a little too far ahead. They weren't able to get away fast enough. Jaina gets knocked backwards, but with the keep going down, ooh, Malfurion, he was leading the charge and wasn't paying attention to his own health, and the Protector just said, nah, you're dead. And so now this might be a good little spot to get some turnaround pressure from the side of the Phoenix Rising. I don't anticipate them being able to get a kill unless it's onto a squishy like Jaina or Raynor, because they just only have the Orpheus as their source of damage, but they were able to create that pressure. Now they're both kind of looking like they want to fight over this camp. I don't expect the Phoenix Rising to be able to contest much here. The Orphea is trying. She's trying to bully the D.Va off as much as she can, but both with the D.Va and Johanna being just a very strong frontline and both damage sources being alive for Frankfurters, there's just not much Phoenix Rising can do until they just regroup and get back together. But again, important thing, they will have constant pressure in that bot lane now. Now they were the ones that have the map pressure. They need to get some even up this pressure in the top lane, which they're looking to do with their camp, and then hopefully they will, look to take that next fight over the objective, use the bot lane to create some pressure that they can get an advantageous fight, and hopefully snowball a fight into their favor. Right now we just got the health camp being picked up, but Frankfurters are coming in. They know that this health camp is going to be trying to pick up, and they want to fight over it. Johanna going in, getting a 3-man D.Va, getting her bomb. They got to get out of this D.Va bomb. Gazla putting his grab bomb down, gets 2. Ring of Frost goes down, gets the Orphea and the Murden. Varian does go down, but 3 kills going down for the Orphea. Orphea was just able to produce a massive 4 kills coming out. Orphea was able to just do an immense amount of damage with the Crushing Jaws and with the amount of damage she was able to do with her QW combo, just not missing any of those skill shots. And that's the thing with a good Orphea who is on point. If they're able to not miss their skill shots, the amount of damage they can put out in a short period of time is just insane, as long as they're not being focused, and they weren't. And now Orphea is looking to get the Rainer. Half health already, she's landing everything, and Rainer's going down. That's 5. This is probably going to end up being GG. Death timers are still 21 seconds. The Gazlo should be able to tank this with the Murden. They have the turret, they have the health, so with the Orphea damage, they should be able to end this, no problem. Sukov needs to get up there and just start smacking around with that extra damage he does in melee range, but this could be game 3 going over, or should be game 3 going over to Phoenix Rising. I don't see, especially with these 3 siege camps, this is GG, and Phoenix Rising coming out, getting the ultimate series victory over the Frankfurters. Wow. That was awesome. That was a fantastic series. I am super stoked that the series went to a game 3 and that it was such a close game 3 as well. Again, both teams, this was very reminiscent of the first game where both teams were just back and forth the entire time. It looked like Frankfurters had the early lead, and then the Phoenix Rising, they got that one fight with that Malfurion not being there. They were able to find that one fight. Gazlo started landing, I think there was like 3 fights in a row, dead on, landed 3 or 4 man grab bombs, and was able to just snowball his team to a victory. Let me message team captain of Phoenix Rising Onyx, see if we can get an interview for this series. But yeah, I mean, they were able to find those fights that they wanted, and when they could find the picks that they wanted, and use the vision on the map to see that they had an advantage, they took that fight and were able to snowball it into eventually in this series a series win. I liked that the Orphea was able to look at the damage that Orphea was able to put out. 78,000. I mean, Jaina put out 86,000 on the other team as well, but 78,000 from Chelsea on that Orphea. More importantly, she got top soak and top siege jam as well. Orphea coming out strong in that game 3, and she was set up for success by those grab bombs from the Gazelle, and having that stronger front line. Murden just being in front of her, basically saying, you got to go through me to get to Orphea. I was hesitant. I was curious about the Varian pick. And then I'm getting a reluctant sure I guess coming in from Phoenix Rising. So we'll get an interview here set up in a second. But let me get over into my Discord channel. I'll go ahead and get into. Go ahead and get in here and see if we can get this interview from Koza real quick. But yeah, I liked what that Orphea was able to do. I liked what the Gazlo was able to do. The Murden able to be that body up front. And we'll wait to see if we can get Kozer in here any second. Um, but hats off to Frank Furters. I mean, they clearly showed at times why they are the number one team. Oh,
What's up, buddy?
hey, how's it going? Congratulations on the win.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That
Yeah.
was an exciting series. You underplayed yourself earlier on when I let you guys know. That was fantastic.
Oh, no, no, no. I wasn't trying to underplay us. It's just we have no unless a team drops out, we have no way to make the playoffs. We
Hey,
had a roster swap about halfway through the season and lost one game that we kind of needed to win to put us in the chance of it, and then Banshee won. So
ah,
kind of sucks. We're out, but it was a really good game, and it showed our team that our team can play against the first place team in the division right now and take a win from them. So it's
yeah.
obviously gonna boost some confidence for hopefully next season.
There you go. Yeah, use that to fuel you guys for next season. It was a like I said, it was a fantastic series. Um, first thing I want to know from you guys. What the strategy going into game one? The ETC Zool Rainer. What was have you guys practiced that comp a lot? Because you guys looked like you were very comfortable on that map with those champs, being able to communicate and find disengage when they're being aggressive and re-engage. So tell me a little bit about that strategy going into game one.
Yeah, no problem. So against we knew that they drafted Dahaka a lot and Rexar. Those were like two of their main comfort picks on their solo laners. So with knowing how Dahaka is strong and what he's weak against, he's
Hmm.
weak against double soak. So that's why we play Zool like a decent amount, and our solo laner is actually nuts. And he always wins double soak. Like he was able to double soak against Dahaka. We also knew that if Z was up, we could not invade their camps. That's also another reason why we got off of our camp, so we didn't die the first
Right.
invade because we knew that they had the Z up. So we just played our game knowing exactly what they were going to do. And the Rainer, it's just a comfort pick on our team too. We play really well with Rainer and Dead's Chromie is nutty and Chelsea's Chromie is good too. As you can see, both of them can swap out their
The
mages as well.
Yeah, the Chromie play. Yeah, I was commenting on the Rainer in that game one. He was so aggressive, but he was just executing it perfectly. He was able to keep himself alive with that more sustained Rainer build that he have, and still put out the massive amount of damage. So I was getting blown away by how aggressive Rainer was being and how well it was working when you guys found those fights that you were looking for. It looked like you
Yeah,
guys
with the
were
ETs. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it looked like in that game you guys were looking more to wait, be patient and wait for them to overcommit to a fight, and then set that Chromie up to re-engage. And when you got those fights, you guys were able to take those fights handedly.
Yeah, it was like that's also another reason I knew there was no way I was hitting like a crazy mosh pit just with all of their ways to be able to interrupt it. So I just decided early on to go stage dive.
Hmm.
And it also helped us because in that game we were able to stay ahead in soak, and
Yes.
they were had two globals, so it made it so the game was a little bit easier. I mean, we did make a couple of mistakes at the end and unfortunately started dying and made the game a little closer, but it was a lot of fun. And then yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about game two. Game two, I don't think we had enough wave clear. And it was really hard to do the 4-man rotations because we just didn't have enough wave clear. And we picked our Tannis to do well against Rexar because if you go the stacking talent, it actually kind of counters him. But we lost top wave way too quickly, and then Rexar was able to not have to go out that far to soak. So Artanis kind of didn't get the value that he'd get
Mhm.
against Rexar on Dragonshire because Rexar is forced to stay top kind of on Dragonshire. So usually Artanis can hit somewhere around 300 stacks.
Oh, Infernal Shrines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying like
Oh, yep.
that's where we know that Artanis is really strong against Rexar. It just didn't work, and
Yeah.
that was one of their comfort picks. So
And for the 4-man, the Sylvanas pick, it looked like you guys were trying to get the Sylvanas pick because you wanted to get the shrine pressure and push with the Sylvanas. Was that the strategy? And it wasn't working, or was there a different thought going behind the Sylvanas pick?
No,
Is that more
it
of a
was
comfort?
it was for the pick, for the push, and yeah, it was a comfort pick, but at the same time, it's just we were so far behind in that game, it was really hard to come back. Like
Yeah.
that's all I really have to say about game two, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like we kind of fell so far behind, couldn't win any team fights. My Diablo gameplay really wasn't that great that game, so it was a really hard game to play. They had a lot of CC, and that's something that they like to draft a lot. And
Yeah.
Brightwing against that much CC is really hard to play against.
So after dropping game two, what was going through the comms? What were you guys thinking of? Okay, we got to reset and get for game three. And how did your draft develop? I'm curious about the Varian pick and how you guys reset, got the draft, got through the draft phase, and then got into the game with the picks that you wanted. What was your guys' new strategy coming in? Because first game one and game two, you guys had very similar comps. Game three, it looked like you guys just went a totally different direction, and I was like, oh, okay, this is just something completely new from you guys.
Yeah, it was something new, but we have a really good Gazlo player in our four-man. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's a really like big comfort pick. Like as you can see, he hit some insane grabo bombs. And the variant pick, I don't want to give too much of our strategies away,
Oh,
but
absolutely. Don't do too much.
it's even though we're not in the playoffs, if we stick together, I don't want everyone to know exactly what we play and why we pick everything. But
Sure.
Varian's really good at countering one of their players on the other team.
Yeah.
So it's basically the variant pick was for that, and it just made it. We wanted a really beefy front line
Okay.
because with Gazzo, the only problem with him, if you actually play him as the only other frontliner, it's kind of really rough. He doesn't have enough sustain to keep himself kind of alive. So having the extra frontliner makes it easier for him to set up plays. And as you can see, we just follow up on it. It helped that I finished my stun quest pretty quickly because then I was able to stun their whole team, and then
Yeah.
we were able to set up for a grab bomb. It was a good game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I was commenting several. There's at least three or four fights where Dead On was dead on with those grab bombs, and it looked like he was just snowballing. Especially that fight where you guys were down a player, but you noticed that Malfurion was mid lane, and so you took the fight anyway. And I think that Jaina and Raynor lived for maybe a half a second.
Oh yeah, that was the one. I think I got he hit them with the Gravo, and then I stunned them, and then they literally couldn't. They
Yeah.
just died from the actual Gravo
Yeah,
bomb. It
it
was
was
nuts.
it was it was a massive, and that seemed to be the turnaround point. So, yeah, game three, fantastic win. It looked like you guys were able to get on it. Tell me real quick, who do you think your MVP was for the series?
Honestly, I'm trying to think right now. You're throwing me off. Uh I'd actually go with Dead On. His shot calling was really, really good. Kept us in all of the games. Really positive. To get us to. I mean, game two was just a hard game, so it was kind of hard for him to shot call. So, but game one, game three, his shot calling was really good. His gameplay was really good, and we were able to get wins because of it.
Awesome, yeah, dead on with
Whole
those
team played
gas
well, though.
bombs.
The whole team played well
Oh,
in those wins.
absolutely. Everybody had their shining moments. I think the Gaslow game three was surprising to me. I was blown away by how many of these grab bombs he was landing. How big of these grab bombs he was landing. I'm pretty sure there's a 4-man one at one time, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I might actually watch your stream and clip it because they ask you to put the MVP of the game, and I'll probably throw Dead On's grab bombs in there
I
because
would
they're actually
absolutely say
insane.
those were probably the highlights of game three. Just watching those grab bombs for sure. But yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and clip it. So, last thing, any shout outs you want to give over chat?
Well, I'm thankful of our season. We played under Phoenix Rising. They've been a great esports team to play under. They helped us actually find a replacement halfway through the season, so that was it's a good time, and got everything, got our coach set up, and they've just been a great time. Other than that, I don't really have any other shout outs. The team, great games today. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Sucks that we have no more games left, but we should be back for
S-
the next
This is
NGS
yeah, I
season.
was gonna say this is absolutely something to build on. Watching you guys play this well against what it looks like is going to be the number one team coming out of your division, and taking it to a game three and winning the series 2-1. good thing. I'm expecting good things to come from Phoenix Rising
Yeah,
Onyx
we were
in the
just
future.
hoping that we could get in the 8th spot and then get in their head and get that win there, the 2-1 win. Then we would have been able to play them in the first series and maybe had an upset.
Yeah.
That would have been an easy grind, right?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily easy, but yeah, it was.
No,
I
no,
mean,
I
if
was
you
just
play
kidding.
this way, yeah. I mean, if you play this way, it doesn't look like there are many teams that would have been able to stop you. But well, Kozer, thank you so much. This was Kozer. He was the main tank, Murden, Diablo, and ETC player from Phoenix Rising Onyx. Congratulations again on the series win, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys next season.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for casting us. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, absolutely, no worries. My pleasure. Take
Have
care.
a great night. Take it easy.
Alrighty, so that was Kozer, everyone. Again, I was looking for a great series coming out. I didn't get the murky that I was potentially promised from the team that promised it, but well, they technically, to be fair, they didn't promise it. They said it might come out. So, you know, they it didn't, but that's okay. It was good to see them the Phoenix Rising come out and take a good 2-1 series, play the Frankfurters to a good game 3. Anytime a team that comes out and says, well, there's no way for us to make it in the playoffs, we might as well just, screw around and have fun. And then they come out and but instead they come out and they actually want to compete, they're enjoying themselves, they're doing, but they come out strong, they have a plan and they execute it well. It's fantastic to see a team like that, not give up and fight tooth and nail and end up taking a series away from one of the top teams in their own division. So great series all around. Let me make sure. I don't think I missed anything in chat. Um, nope, I didn't see anything. So that's all I got for tonight. I don't know. I may get one more cast in later this week. I usually cast Division E. This is a treat to be able to go into Division D. There's some good final games for seeding purposes coming up in Division E and NGS later this week. So I'm hoping to be able to sneak in and get one of those games. And then yeah, this is usually my favorite time of the season because playoff implications are on the line. Every team's trying to bust out and play their hardest to get that better spot in the seeding so that they get a more favorable matchup come playoff time. So and then we got playoffs starting next week, which I'm really excited for. So I'm gonna end the stream for tonight. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you in the nexus. Take care.